The image is produced as an appearance, a composition of relations of forces, a system of actions and reactions at the level of matter itself, such that it does not need to be perceived, but rather exists in itself as a disturbance, vibration, and movement. For thinking to permeate across boundaries, to make it impactful, it must be made to vibrate or move through the mind with the continued questioning of information, emotion, thoughts, ideas, anything and everything our mind is capable of. These stimuli keep the process ever moving and ever alive. Random thinking and frustration is not a distraction, but a
So I'm popping around here and trying to find words. It's coming in turns the inside out. It's coming in turns the inside out. And this is making me think almost of like wind, like blowing wind in and out, circulating in the threshold of a doorway between, so that air circulates in a continual pattern, outside in, inside out. It does that through these words of vibration, shifting, threshold, figuration, experience, quiver. Ooh, I like that one. Shifts, vibrates again. Of our emotion that we've had, that we hold on to in order to come together, to have this coming together, to move each other and transform all of that beyond meaning, beyond what it meant. And all of this ties into kind of feminism, for me anyway, it would.
What I'm getting an image of after sitting and think about it for a second are sound waves. It's like sound waves reverberating off of each other in order to create a change. The sound waves of these ideas of the particular qualities of this social language that's fixed, changing due to the sound waves of experiencing the discomfort.
So my emerging thought with this is we have this social engagement, this bilateral blogging, which is connecting and creating these social encounters with individuals that might at any other point have not communicated or been connected at all. And I find that very inspiring just through interacting with people. Well, and I'm kind of getting a little bit of a bird here if you flipped it around. Hold on. It's a funky bird, but it's a bird. And I ended up photocopying it and laying it out this way because between pages 84 and 87, I really kind of felt a connection of ideas going on, or maybe not so much a connection of ideas, but an understanding that was happening for me. This is both my discomfort and my inspiration. That's why it spans between 4 different pages. So I'm seeing the interconnection between creative ideas and very systematic kind of analytical ideas. Started mapping. If you can kind of see in here a little bit, any images of words that jumped out that are more like how you get there or more creative based, I did kind of this squiggly line. But the ideas that are more policy-based and economic and what we're trying to come from, I've blocked them out, intentionally blocked them out. So what I'm thinking is I've chosen a few colors here. I've chosen watercolor, and I'm going to use a mix between gray and teal because that seems kind of drab to me. And every time I see one of these words, I'm going to take and I'm going to pull straight up. Overlap there, but my theory is that by pulling these up, what's going to happen is I'm going to create overlap in words that end up making more sense to me, or that's what I'm trying to solve here. The inspiration comes into, we need this shift. I know we need this shift. That's what it's talking about here, is this entire shift. And the discomfort is happening because it's a continual question of how it works.
Humans hold preconceived biases when it comes to learning. We approach understanding in a very linear fashion. Through moving in this process of thinking, I have grown to discover that the practiced approach to processing scholarly information has taken on a completely different and new context within my life. A life where information must be read multiple times in order to gain a deeper connective thinking. Viewing words as interconnected images has allowed my cognition to develop in a complex and multifaceted way, which has surprised me very much. I feel valid in the idea and conclusions which I've revealed within the readings. These ideas have become forever living and moving as I've discovered new entities within my life. This journey has been one of self-discovery rather than a journey of simply gaining information. The dance of information takes on a life of its own, ever moving and ever changing with growth. Okay, this week in our Thought in the Act book, I chose to choose a passage about chunking. Looking at it through one of the artography lenses, it was incredibly easy for me to see it through, not incredibly easy, there's nothing incredibly easy about this book, or these passages anyway, but the one that was easiest for me to connect in an artographical way is chunking. So that's makes me kind of nervous using a Sharpie, but again, something more static, because when you walk into the room as an artist, you need to keep those initial responses to color, line, shape, pattern, those things, you need to keep them more static in your brain instead of jumping quickly to preconceived notions of what you already know. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so neurotypical would not just describe an autistic person, but anybody who goes for that neurological stimulant before they jump to anything else. So in that definition or that mind frame, I would be a neurotypical person. Almost like an earthquake, everything kind of bounces into each other, creating, again, these ripples or rhizomes that keep touching and moving in more of patterning and color and relation and emphasis, and look at it more as an overall picture and less as a preconceived notion of what we know is.
If you take these ideas, it's basically working inside of a box in order to get outside of the box. Now, when I look at it in that context, so you are essentially all three. You are artist, you are researcher, you are teacher, especially within, say, artist and teacher phase. You are always a researcher. So what this kind of, and I know I'm going off on a personal tangent here, but what this kind of gave me personally is the idea that even though I may not read most of my information or my articles in a researcher mind frame or mindset, I am always a researcher. I'm always, especially taking classes like this, you are constantly and always a researcher. So through staying inside theoretical lenses, but different ones, and having that unpredictability of it, it all kind of comes out of there. So we've got, okay, I'm on to something here. So by working inside the box, by working in those limited resources or theoretical frame mindsets, it's going to open up to all new ideas. We'll have unpredictability, and then you will be able to eventually reassemble this into a whole new working idea, to maybe even an entirely different or new working theory.
So I've been trying to find a good way, an articulate way to summarize my experience through this class. I realized that the process has made me fully aware of the life which this methodology and the information we gain provides for us. Looking at things through an artist, researcher, and teacher lens, and doing that while creating visuals, while reading the text, while recording yourself, and then going back and listening to what we've done and what we've said, and really collecting all of those thoughts and information has extricated for me a new way of learning for myself, and one which I'm so excited to take back to my students. The brain really truly is a facet of interconnections where each of us flow into one another and are intrinsically intertwined. It's been an enlightening process going back and listening to what at one point I thought were disjointed and terrible ideas, and really ended up not being at all. It's been a very enlightening process.